Hey YouTubers, Dave here with Surface Geeks, Mr. Jim Carlson here as well. Sorry we're actually late, which is not a big surprise, but we were playing with Ubie, and I'll show you Ubie. She's right there. I know this looks odd, but this is the only way I could get it to work, in the only configuration I could get to work. Now, so you can see right here this red, I have a red Ethernet port. Short cable running to the bathroom that's behind, and so she can kind of hear me through the door, but we have Ubie mic'd up. And if you don't know Ubie, it's kind of Ubie is an ever-listening companion, so she responds by saying "Okay, Ubie." I didn't say it loud enough.
Yeah.
So let's go. We're just going to keep her quiet for a second. But at the Ubie for at Twitter, and I think, what is Ubie? I don't know what they're. TheUbie.com. So, okay, Ubie. What's the weather like in Seattle, Washington? She went too fast.
You stuttered.
Yeah, she didn't get it.
Didn't get it. Try it again.
Okay, Ubie. What's the weather like in Seattle, Washington?
Quartzville, Indiana. It is currently clear. 32 Fahrenheit.
All right, you try, Jim.
Okay, Ubie. What's the weather like in San Jose, California?
San Jose, California. It is currently partly cloudy. 63 Fahrenheit.
I think she did a shot in between your weather forecast and my weather forecast.
She slowed down. I think Ubie likes you, Jim.
I think
so. What we
so.
did is, those are headphones that we've strapped around Ubie, because the Chromebook that I have, it's like it was too tinny. The speakers were too trebly. They didn't have enough bass, so I don't think they had enough frequency response for her to hear. I think she could not hear that, tinny frequency response. So I just plugged in headphones and wrapped the headphones around her, and that produces I think a better signal, a deeper signal. So she's responding.
Okay, Ubie. Can you play a little Van Halen?
Oh, you just didn't do that.
Playing a little bit in a moment.
Oh, what's going to happen now?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mambo number 5.
What did I do? This is a little bit. Thank you, Ubie. You can stop. How do you stop, Ubie?
Music?
No, please, no. Thank you. Oh, so you just tell her to stop.
Yeah, she has to ask you. You can't interrupt her.
The request was not understood.
Okay, Ubie.
Please
She's
stop
gonna
the
interrupt us
music.
all night. She's been doing shots. Maybe we should podcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let me get over to SG82.
I wanted my Van Halen.
Yeah, she goes out to Groove Shark.
Oh, that's right.
So she might not get like the original artist.
Yeah.
I've had some like redos.
And you probably need to do the song name as opposed to the group.
Yeah, I don't know how she got Mambo number 5.
Out of Van Halen.
Yeah.
They say on the website, Ubie gets smarter over time.
She does.
It's able to better understand you up to 8 feet away. And can be used to send messages to contacts, look up information, play music, control devices. Can be used to get information relayed to you without you needing to go to your computer or phone.
Correct. Think of, you've probably, all the geeks out there have heard about Amazon Echo.
Mm-hmm.
This one will hook into your smart things. So if you have smart things in your house, home automation hub, you can like turn stuff on and off and get reports, via voice on this thing. I have yet to be able to link my two accounts. There's something going on, and I have not been able to link those two. But I'm still playing. When I get time, I put some time into it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. We'll ask her during the audio portion, and then we'll. Yeah. She gets smarter, or do you dumb down to her level? Which is a good question. Man, a lot to go over. Okay, here we go. Oh, I'm not recording. Jeez. So we're just waiting on YouTube. Okay. This is the Surface Geeks Podcast, episode number 82, recorded on January the 28th, 2015. It's Windows 10 night. I said Windows 10, but man, it's everything. It's HoloGeeks, it's RT. Is it dead? I'm not dead yet. Yeah, that's a bad impression.
It's a good one. That's all right. It's not bad.
That voice you hear is Mr. Jim Collison. How you doing tonight, Jim?
Greetings, Dave. Happy Wednesday night to you.
Yep, and I'm your host, David McCabe, Surface MVP, although I don't know for how much longer. Thank God they didn't call me Surface RT MVP. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Hey, we're a member of the Geeks Network. Head out to thegeeksnetwork.com. Is there a podcast in you? This is also live on YouTube. You can see the video on YouTube. We have a special guest tonight. Her name, she's on the video at all times now. Her name is Ubie. I knocked the video off of the Twitter wall. Sorry, Jim. I've been having all kinds of problems tonight. Google Plus.
It's been challenging for you, for sure.
Yeah, has given me issues. And I've had Windows 10 issues on a Surface Pro 3, so I switched over to Windows 8, and I don't know if that was Google Plus or Chrome or what have you, but it's been very challenging indeed. So we'll try to get through most of the information. We've got a lot of information to talk about, but like I said, I have a special guest. Her name is Ubie. So you guys on the audio podcast, she's mic'd up. She has headphones wrapped around her. She is in an opposite room of me because it worked better that way. So we tried it during Home Server Show, an earlier podcast. We couldn't get it to work. So I just completely moved her to a different room. She's hooked up to a laptop. She has headphones strapped around her. And honestly, Jim's had better luck talking to it than I have. So take it away, Jim.
Okay, Ubie. Who does the best podcast in town?
Is that a rhetorical question? Are you asking me?
She's getting smart with me.
Nice,
Wow.
Ubes.
Wow. Very nice, but that's how it works.
That's how it worked. So, man, she was blabbing off all kinds of stuff earlier.
Well, the one I said, okay, Ubie, how many pints are in a quart?
Okay, so she didn't get that.
Maybe not.
She
Maybe not.
beeped back at you, but
Maybe
yeah,
later in the show we'll let her ramble off every
we'll
single measurement.
We'll have an Ubie break. All right, so Windows 10 is available. Microsoft had their big thing. This is almost a full week after they've announced it. They did that last Wednesday, a full week ago, and then they released the bits on last Friday. So we're recording this on the 28th. They released the bits on the 23rd. The meeting, Windows 10 was released on the 21st, or the information. So we've had a full week. I have not had a full week behind it, but I know a lot of people have been playing around with it much more than I have. But I did load Windows 10 on a Surface Pro 3. I have two of them. I have my honestly, my daily driver right here, where I have all my little stickers on them, and This is my Core i3, but my Core i5, which has Windows 10 loaded on it, is docked. So I have that in an actual dock, Surface Pro 3 dock. And I've been running it. And it's kind of my PC when I'm up in my office, and it's been running fine. So let's go through. You know what?
Can I ask you some questions about it? Because
Sure.
one of the things, I'm running it in a VM,
Okay.
and so like I can't take advantage. I have not done audio pass through, so I haven't taken advantage of Cortana. Have you messed with Cortana in there? And what kind of things are you asking it? Which we talked about, Ubie. Okay, Cortana. No, so Ubie doesn't answer to that. But
Right.
have you done much query with Cortana?
Yeah, I've done some stuff like that. So, okay, Cortana. Okay, so that's the thing.
Yes, how can I help?
Did you hear that? Did
I
it come
heard
through
that.
on the mic?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
when you're talking to her, and I think it's just going to be this build. I think that they're going to fix this. You have to say, okay, her name, and then boom, you got to ask your question. You can't goof around. You got to get it going. And I found it to be fairly accurate, and I found it to be fairly helpful. Last week I was messing around. I said, I asked her when Monster Jam started in Indianapolis on Saturday evening. And she didn't know. She couldn't tell me in her words, but she popped up a Bing search. And it was right there. I mean, it was right there. So, okay, Cortana, what time is the Super Bowl? Bing.com, Super Bowl. It came up with a list. Okay, Cortana. Okay, Cortana. What day is the Super Bowl?
Yes, how can I help?
What day is the Super Bowl? Okay, Cortana. What day? See, I already.
Yeah.
She said, "Hey there, back." It's
Little
frustrating.
sketchy. Okay.
It's frustrating. You have to be on it.
Yeah.
Okay, Cortana. What day is the Super Bowl? She went back to Bing.com.
Mm-hmm.
But boom, it's right there. I mean, it tells me February 1, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, Ubie. What day is the Super Bowl on? She doesn't know Super Bowl.
Yeah.
She's not a big sports fan. But she doesn't have a means in which to error out, right? She doesn't know how to repeat the information to you. She just pop up a Bing search or to do that. And man, it's a beautiful search if you're running Windows 10. Just say what day is the Super Bowl, and tons of information and predicted game changers. Gronkowski, Marshawn Lynch, passing leaders. It's got all kinds of searches here. Bing predicts Patriots win 51% chance. Well, that's 50-50 right there. So
Team Irvin versus Team Carter.
I thought that was Pro Bowl.
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, that is Pro. Oh, so they have the Pro Bowl results down below.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I see
So
the
you did
tab.
that. Okay.
Yep, they have Pro Bowl, and I see what they're doing now. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. I think certainly not. I just in the test, certainly not where Siri is at when we think about.
Was I saying hey Cortana? Or was I saying okay?
I don't know.
Maybe she answers to both. Yeah, someone in chat reminded me it's hey Cortana.
Okay. It seems just in the tests here and what I've seen, still a little sluggish, still a little kind of clunky. I think we'll see in future builds it get better. Remember, this is the first time it's on the desktop, so. I think the goal will be to have that ready by the time we get to. They're tracking metrics on all that, so hopefully that will add to some of the improvements on it. I just, search that way in general. Still, no matter which platform you're on, is still super clunky. It was funny. I on my Android phone the other day, I was sending a text to somebody. I think it was even you. We were talking about the show, this, and I was sending it. We were sending it through Twitter, and I was walking, and I started typing, and I'm like, oh shoot, I can just use the mic. So I grabbed it and started talking into it, and somebody goes, oh, that actually works. Like it was a big surprise that it would actually. And lately, actually, my Android queries have gone really well when I'm doing voice to text that way. Frustrated with a lot of other things on that, but it's worked out pretty well. So it'll be interesting. I almost put it on my Surface this weekend. I didn't. I think I'm going to take your advice and maybe hold off for another build or so to do it. But I'm most interested in this feature. That's the one I think that I'm out of all of them. Second to or first to number 2 would be notifications, but I think the first one is Cortana for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, if we're just jumping right in, I think it's something that I've used the least of. It's just something that I barely even know it's there. I can see it, but I don't know it's there. What I need to do is I want to remove it off of my taskbar. I need to figure out how to do that. And I want it just to do, the Windows key and type. And you can type that. When is Super Bowl? I just hit the bam. And she brought that up in the where you hit the Windows key, and the information is just right there. So let me ask her real quick. Hey Cortana, when is the Super Bowl?
February 1st, 2015.
So asking it differently, she brought me the date instead of the Bing page. So I may use it a little more often, but I tend to use Windows key search. I'll type in, I'll just hit the window key and type like CALC, for the calculator, or Windows key paint. Just something silly when you need to get to an app, and which that, to be honest with you, that still worked just as fine on Windows 8. It just popped you out to the tiles, and you just typed, and it just came up. So Cortana, maybe I'll use her in the future. You definitely have to get used to it being available to you. You had mentioned notifications. So that's another thing. So I click my notifications. I see the ones that I've had tonight, and it's been a lot of Twitter back and forth, and some are from you, direct messages, and I see them. And that's from Tweetium. So I'm using desktop Tweetium, and it's put it in the notifications app. I just hit clear all. They slide away. And so that's been something I've used, the notification area, but that's also been something that's been kind of frustrating, is sometimes, like if I reboot the Surface, it'll come up and it'll badoop. It'll give me all those old, notifications that I have not cleared, and so those will be waiting on me, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. But that's something that I have used, where as an 8.1, it's just not there.
I have liked within notifications. I have liked the new settings options that you have in there. Just the look. Not a lot has changed functionally. I mean, there's some things in there certainly, but go to notifications and click on settings, and it brings up kind of a whole new settings interface. Similar, like I said, nothing's changed. You're just not getting the control panel that you used to get. Or that you're used to, but the same thing: system, devices, network, and internet, personalizations, accounts, all those things we had access to before. They just lived in that old Windows 7 interface, which is gone at this point in this build. And we have little squiggly icons and stuff, kind of a more unified. I kind of like it. It's a simplified. Who would have thought, we would have started simplified with the old operating system, so we would have gotten really complex with all the icons and stuff, and now we're all back to Fisher-Price simple.
Yeah.
Type stuff.
I think this is going to be, notification area with the quick icons is going to be a little more usable in tablet mode. Honestly, I find it a little jarring moving from Windows 8.1 into this, because what I expect that little drawer to slide out from the right, and I tap on something, I expect it to slide up into the notification area and give me the information that I want. Instead, it pops a window into settings, which that's fine, but I kind of wanted to like if you click all settings, okay, I understand that throws up all settings. But if I click Wi-Fi, it turns Wi-Fi off. So, and I'm on my desktop. To me, that's wrong. It shouldn't turn Wi-Fi off. It should pop up the Wi-Fi mode and show me all the access points around me, and then give me an option to turn it off and jump onto the access point. So, or if I'm not connected to one, it should show me one. And perhaps this is something in the future.
Yeah, I would say.
It's going to be the caveat to everything.
First release, they're just rolling this thing out for the very first time.
They get a free pass. They really, luckily, get a free pass.
Well,
a couple more builds down the road, I expect some of this stuff to work. But in desktop mode, if I click Wi-Fi, don't turn off Wi-Fi. I could be used. That could be my connection, right?
Yeah.
That's going to piss someone off.
They're looking for telemetry data. They're looking for usage. They're looking for feedback. I mean, I know some of this stuff probably wasn't even ready. And they're, all right, let's throw it out there. Let's just see what kind of data we get back. So I'm sure that's part of it. This is a pretty radical change from what it had been. So to make that jump from what we saw in the last build, which is still the same purple settings screen, but it had a kind of a different look and feel to it. So it's they definitely are making some changes in the way that whole settings piece is going to work.
Yeah, and my initial thoughts on Windows 10 were I thought it was pretty stable, and I thought, hey, this is pretty awesome, right? And the more layers you peel back, the more your eyes start to water and you start to cry. It's like, this is
maybe
pretty
not
rough,
yet,
fellas. This is pretty rough. So that is my full recommendation right now. Is if you're thinking about putting this on your Surface Pro 3, do not. If you're thinking about putting this on your production machine, do not. It is not ready. It's really, really not ready. Now, I say that right now. I've had a task manager screen on 24/7 since I've loaded this thing, just to watch what it's doing. And you just never know what this thing is doing. Right now, my Surface Pro 3 is just as quiet can be. And you're going to hear a lot of people talking about how it's pegging the fans on the Surface Pro 3. It's pegging the CPU. And right now, mine is running really nice and easy. Of course, I'm not tasking it right now. I've got one Chrome tab? One Chrome tab open, OneDrive, Tweetium, and that's it, in Task Manager. So, when I was trying to do a Hangout, the fan was screaming on my Surface Pro 3. It literally was screaming. It was trying to
Do you have a C920 attached to it?
Yes. No. Yes, I do.
I bet you did. Yeah, that's still not working well on Windows at all. C920 on Google or on Chrome with a Hangout going is just obliterating. I have a Core i7 and it just obliterates it even with that much power. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah, it's just a real common thing across that. I'm not sure that's a thing for Microsoft to fix. I think that's a Google deal.
True, and that's probably the reason I returned my first Surface in the first place. But and this is the i5, and it's docked. And I found some instances where it performs better than Windows 8. I use this Surface Pro 3 i5 on my desk, docked, and I have a second computer over here with the screen, and I use not Microsoft Garage, but Mouse Without Borders, which was developed in the Microsoft Garage. And with Windows 8, it always had a sync problem. If I rebooted the tablet, I couldn't get Mouse Without Borders to sync up, right? I would have to undock it, so I'd have to click it open, put the screen back on the Surface, tap the Mouse Without Borders, get it synced, and then close it again in the dock, and then I could run the mouse across. So right now I run the mouse across 3 screens, and it works fine, and it's worked in Windows 10 a whole lot better. So it's worked in the dock very well, I've thought.
Dave, the other reason I would switch would be what you talked about. It's the keyboard, docking and undocking of that keyboard. What's been your experience with that, and what are you getting prompts like you're supposed to be to say, hey, I've lost my keyboard, or hey, do you want to add the keyboard in? What's been that experience?
I'm not using this as the.
Oh, okay, that's the one that's docked, right? Your Windows 10.
Yeah,
is the
but
docked.
I'm not using it as a podcast machine whatsoever. I mean, I just undocked it. There it is running Windows 10. It disconnected because I was screwing with Wi-Fi probably. So it's not even on Wi-Fi. Oh, look at all those. Where is it? Here it is. Wow, it's really confused right now. It's like, okay. Well, we're probably going to have to skip this segment because it's really confused. I really pissed it off. It has been going over the Ethernet, I guess.
One of the things, while you're working on that, one of the things I noticed for those who are on the Insider program, and if you were in these new settings, they seem to have disappeared. So if you want to know where those are at, if you go into the Settings tab and then choose Windows Update. By the way, there's an update waiting for you when you get there. It's a technical preview update that's out there. But you have to go down to the advanced options. So go down to the bottom, click advanced options, and scroll down. At that point, depending on your screen size, but scroll down, and you'll see the choose how preview builds are installed. So you can drop that down and then choose fast or slow. So if you're wondering if you chose fast and you want to change that to slow, or the other way around, although if you're on slow, you might not have gotten it yet, then that's where that's moved to. So the update, the settings tab has gotten more complicated up front, but then you'd go into update and recovery, choose Windows Update, and then go down to advanced, and you'll find the fast and slow there. So if you're interested in where that, so the menus have changed significantly from that standpoint, and I think a lot of folks will want to use the systems tab, which is still has a lot of options that's in there, including all the displays and speech, and Cortana is in there now, and storage sense. You can find storage sense in there, but it now has all that unified look when we talk across all the settings. I think good for some, really good for touch, like Dave mentioned, but it's definitely different.
Yeah, that was that was frustrating right there. I mean, literally, I was freaking lost trying to get Wi-Fi to turn on.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because I'm so used to those stupid charms that I just fly in from the right, and it's there. So, I mean, I'm not saying that I miss the charms, and I don't mind not having them, because I really didn't like them in the first place, but, again, it's a learning curve.
Yeah. And I think you're going to see one or two more iterations of the way this stuff is laid out as they get telemetry and they get options and they see how people are using it. This is where I think they're smart and letting the fast folks, they start gathering information on some of these changes early, and then start making changes based on the information they're getting back.
So okay, I'm so confused. So I typed in Wi-Fi in the Cortana box. It brought up network and internet, but I had a setting that I didn't see before, show available connections, and then it slid in a drawer from the right, and it shows Wi-Fi on, no networks found. So I have an access point. I thought it was on. It should be seeing Wi-Fi up here, but that's just crazy. I turned it off. Turn Wi-Fi off. Oh, it turned it on automatically. Yeah. So I can't even stress it enough.
Yeah.
Do not install this build. It is not ready for prime time whatsoever.
But I think you're seeing the early stages of what's to come for summer when this thing goes to its public release. So
Yeah, there's it's just like Windows 8
yeah,
that came out. There are people that love this thing, and there are
Mhm.
people that just hate it. And I've seen that the people that absolutely hate it are the people that are happy with their 8.1. Their
well, they
Windows
finally
8.
embraced it, right? They were
They
probably the
embraced the
same ones
stock.
that were pissed
Yeah.
on Windows 8, got used to it, again, got used to it, and now they're like, "You're changing it again."
Yeah. It's the weirdest thing how fickle we are that these changes. And for one thing that I thought that I had poo-pooed on Surface Geeks before, and that's hitting the Windows key and getting my app list and these tiles. I thought I would not use it. I thought I would dislike it. I told you guys that I disliked it, and it just doesn't bother me anymore. I've been using this for a couple of days now, and I use it on the left. It puts in the most used apps, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 most used apps, and I guarantee a lot of you folks are never going to have anything over those 8 most used apps. It's going to be Notepad, Calc, your Office apps, Tweetium, OneNote, whatever you use. It's going to be there. I haven't even tried to use Evernote on this thing. And if it's not there, there's a button for all apps, and you click that, and then it gives you that list of apps, just like Windows 7.
I do like that change. The the last build, when you went into that section, the apps list was just like Windows 7, which was really designed for a mouse. I like they've made a change to bring the icons in to make that consistent, so you can still get that really tight. If you want that list, you can still get it tight, but you don't feel like you're gonna fat finger it. There's enough space in there when you click on it for that list. I think now there's enough space with those icons to get that done. So I do like that change. It makes for a more consistent UI from the list to the tab, or to the icons on the right hand side. And I think in a lot of cases I would remove all those, all the old icons. I'm not sure in this scenario. I'll have to try it. I can't wait to try it on the Surface when I'm actually using the finger to get. That sounded bad, but using the touch surface to get to it.
Well, I find the tiles are a bit redundant, but then
Yeah.
again, they kind of aren't. So you have the list of your frequently used applications on the left. Now, for anyone, I know if you're listening to this show, you have looked up screenshots of Windows 10. You probably know it better than I do. But when you click the Windows Start button, it pops up. You get most used. Then you get places, which is pretty handy because you got your settings. I have Documents and File Explorer, and that's just default, and that's how I like it. And I use those. So there's active tiles on the right-hand side, which is what I poo-pooed in the past. I said I did not like, and I still really kind of don't like them, but it allows me to kind of customize additional applications. This is where I would put all of my Office apps, right? I would put my Word, Excel, my Outlook, and Mail, and Calendar, all those right there in those tiles. And that way, if I do a podcast, I use a lot of apps, tons of apps, and those are going to go into the most used section over there, and then I'm going to lose access to those other apps that I use the other 6 days of the week. So I can see how this is kind of going to be handy. Put the Store app icon there. I don't necessarily care to see all of the rolling scrolling stuff. Right? I don't need the news in my start bar. I don't need that kind of stuff. I can see in the mail app where I have a badge that says, unread. There's a number of unread messages. That's okay. I can handle that.
See,
But
I think
otherwise,
that's where it could be the most helpful, is not having, because they were on their start screen before. They were you were forced to look at them all. I think one way, not for everybody, but one way of doing it is having the ones you use all the time on the left for easy. You don't. Most of them don't need the smart. Don't need the live tile features that are associated with it. But like I've got the sports one in there, and it's giving me an up to date score on something there. I can go in there and configure that so it'll show what I want it to. But I would think it maybe like email and sports and maybe the weather might be some nice ones to have out there. So you hit start and just see what's, if you use those like a task list, that might be nice to see those in full size. Weather in particular, right? That might be a good one to just go big. Go big on the weather icon, drag that sucker up to the top, and then you would have some, it would be an updated weather. If you want to get that, you don't have to, because that was the original idea, right? That's what they were hoping to do.
Right. Everything's in your tiles.
Yeah.
Quick in, quick out, right? That was the
Right.
whole premise.
If you don't have to look at it,
tiles.
if you don't have to go in, if you get an update and you don't have to open the app, it saves time. No, now I got a notification that my backup started.
There you go. Everything's trying to kill us tonight.
It's all right.
I don't know. What are the other features? I saw in... So if I go to Start Bar Settings... Where was that? Is it under System? Yeah. If you click System, you can go into tablet mode. I've played with it, but I haven't truly played with it. I mean, you saw the trouble I had getting Wi-Fi to come on. So that tells you how much that I have pulled it out of the dock. That doesn't mean I haven't used it, because I sit here and I've used it. Unlike when I put Windows 10 on a virtual machine, that was kind of cheating, because I didn't really use it. I just looked at it. The other thing is Storage Sense, and this is something that I've been just waiting to have. And I think I can hear my voice feedback. Do you hear that every once in a while? I think it's the Ubie.
I don't hear it on this end, no.
Okay. Maybe I hear it.
You might be hearing, wow, that would be hard. She's got headphones on. I don't know how you'd be hearing yourself.
I don't know how.
Unless that microphone's too close to the headphones. And so it's bleeding out through the headphones.
That's what's going on.
That's probably what's happening.
Yeah, and she's clicking and popping a little bit too. That could be the headphones as well.
Could be. Oh, I do hear that now that
We
you say that.
can mute her in control room.
Yeah.
We'll just
until we need her. That is kind of odd that she'd be kind of crackling and
if I mute that.
popping that way.
Okay, so that didn't mute me. I just muted her.
Yep. Now you forced mute.
Okay. Okay, so we won't hear from her again. We're done with Ubie.
Okay.
Okay, Ubie. We muted you. She responded. I can see her. She changed colors in the. She was green. We're gonna make her mad. I dropped her earlier. The cover popped off. It was like, whoa, I'm gonna get in trouble. So in settings, system settings, Windows 10, Storage Sense. And there's new options. There's new options that I thought were kind of neat, and I can't wait to try out. So I need to dig out an SD card and slide into my Surface. Save new apps and games. Save new documents. Save new music. Save new pictures. Save new videos. And it all on mine all say this PC. It's because I haven't plugged in any additional storage right now. So I'm curious to load apps on an SD card.
Well, and I guess I'm wondering how that works with OneDrive.
Oh,
You know.
OneDrive is a mess in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a 64 here, Jim. We're just going to pop this out, turn it off, and
In real time.
yeah, in real time, we're going to put, it's a 64 gig, and we're just going to slide it in. to this 128 gig Surface Pro 3, if I can get it. Oh, for God's sakes, get in there. Jesus. Nothing's working today. I mean, nothing's working.
I know, you're
today.
having a tough go of it, man.
There it goes. Okay, so I don't know if you heard that. Dun,
I
dun,
did.
dun.
Yeah.
So that was her saying, hey,
Got it.
I've got an SD card. So if I hit File Mangler, there it is, SDXC. It has my music on there. So let me exit the settings and kind of restart the settings to see if it actually gives me storage sense. Save new documents to... jeez. So this has been a bust. I have a choice to save new music to the SD card. Save new apps and games. If I tap that, it just says PC. So documents, music, pictures.
So maybe they're not allowing apps yet.
Videos. Yeah, we're not doing apps yet. And this has been something that I've been waiting on. And I'm going to redock this. That's been something I've been waiting on, is to save apps to the SD card. Because even my Core i3, it has a 64 gig. And it would be nice to run, apps that I don't use a whole lot, like maybe my weather app or something. Put that on my SD card. That way I can have a little additional storage. I think this is a feature we have to have. I do, especially with the small tablets that are coming with 8 gig and 16 gig. People have heard me say this before. I'm trying it again. I'm going back into Storage Sense. I'm in Desktop. Save new apps and games to this PC. So try it yourself. Storage Sense lists my SD card, because I can see this PC, 42 gig out of 113 used. SD card says 41 gig out of the 59 gig. So it's there. It knows it's there. But it just won't let me use it for apps. That's frustrating. Maybe in a later build. There were updates to Windows 10 as soon as you launched Windows 10. There were updates waiting for you. And, Jim, there were updates today. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of frustrating today. My update's installed, and it rebooted, and it came back, and it was still installing. And I thought it was done. I thought it was ready, and it was not. And I was just like, what the hell's going on? And it finally popped up and said, hey, your updates have installed. You're ready to go. So that was a little bit frustrating.
One of the features that I've seen that didn't get a lot of talk was the Maps feature in this that comes over from Lumia. Mm-hmm. So if you got a Windows phone, you have seen this already. It's nothing new to it. By the way, here Maps on Android is dynamite. It's almost my default now at this point, but still won't keep me on the platform. But the map update is there now. So if you go into System Settings, go to Maps, you can have the ability to download offline maps, which has never really been a big deal on the Windows side, but is available courtesy of Lumia, or of Nokia. So if you want to load your maps and have them available again, that's been a very, very handy feature, especially on a tablet that has no LTE. That can be a real handy feature, right?
I'm going to download Indiana right now.
Yeah. Put those maps in there, and you can have maps available for you offline.
USA, Illinois. Probably shouldn't do that during a podcast.
Ironically, I shouldn't say ironically, it is a direct... I mean, they ported this straight over from here on Maps, so it's almost identical. If you're on the Windows phone, this just came straight over. There's really not a lot of changes. The map infrastructure looks the same. I haven't looked at the maps though. I'm sure they're exactly the same.
I'm launching right now, and it's being very slow. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's downloading. I probably shouldn't have started to download it. I hit the download.
Well, they're not too big. Let's see. So Nebraska, 100 meg. To
Yeah, Chicago,
bring that
Illinois
down.
was 208 meg,
Mm-hmm.
and Maps just kind of disappeared. It's not loading. There it is. It's asking to use my location. It kind of went into a global mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's loading, and now it's zooming in to the fine state of Indiana, and it's trying to go to the internet and load. Yeah, there it is. It's got me. So first time took a little bit to load up.
Yeah.
But
You're going to expect, depending on your internet connection, you're going to expect that. I've used that on road trips before. Really handy going across Nebraska because cell coverage, if you're using Google or whatever, cell coverage only gets me to Kearney, which is a third of the way across the state. So it's nice to have some, still got GPS, and it was nice to have some maps in some areas where it's a little sketchy with Sprint.
mm-hmm. There's been a lot of talk about the aesthetics of this product, Windows 10, and I'm just gonna give them a pass because some of it is very ugly, and thinking back in the past, they usually load the previews with something that they're not going to use. The final product never has the same backgrounds. Icons are different, so I'm just going to give them a pass on all that stuff, and I think everybody has to. Feedback on, some of the weirdness of them, spacing, whatever. Give the feedback, but, don't condemn the product because of it, because I guarantee you it's all going to pass. It's all going to be different when final product is out.
This is almost like that clay concept car. When they're first putting a concept car together, the very first version is clay. And there's just a lot of clayness. There's a lot of good stuff it's kind of exciting to see some of the things under the hood. And I think some of these things, when we talked about maps and storage sense, Cortana now, I think those are going to influence the PC makers a little bit, right? Where they can take advantage of this stuff now in the OS, and now I think we're going to get these even weirder phone tablet hybrids because of this. These phablet hybrids that are going to have some functions, capabilities that maybe we didn't anticipate. So it's good they're getting these out very, very early. I don't think we'd see any of those things till next Christmas anyways, but I think we're going to see some pretty weird combos come up for Christmas.
It'll be interesting to see what the manufacturers do with it and how they run with it. Windows 10 in their offerings, especially a year from now. It'll be interesting to see how they integrate Cortana and tablet mode and all that kind of good stuff. If they do, if they do, we're going to be talking Windows 10 for a long time. Oh my God. It's front and center for a Surface Geek. I mean, it really is. It really is front and center, and it's like, man, this is what makes the Surface Pro 3. It's going to make it shine. And in between tablet mode and desktop mode is going to be very, very important, and that's one of the things that I'm going to have to do more of is tablet mode. Because even if I'm sitting on the couch, I use it in desktop mode because I can handle it. I don't know why people have so much trouble balancing the Surface Pro 3, but I use the keyboard and I use the mouse that's on the keyboard, and I don't have any problems with it. But I will try to use it in more tablet mode. And what I'm going to have to do is probably put my Surface Pro 3 away that has Windows 8 on it and use the Windows 10 more, because that whole Wi-Fi incident was that was stupid. That should not happen. Now the other thing I want to do is how did I get that to... I've been able to pop up multiple desktops. How did I get that to happen? That little button. The little button right beside Cortana has like just two boxes overlapping each other, and that allows you to add the virtual desktops and whatnot. And that's something that I really enjoy having. Is, let's say you could have a couple apps. They're all running on the same PC, but you could have a couple apps running in a windowed mode, and then you swipe over, you get to a different desktop, and then you have another couple of apps running. You know, if you're a podcaster, it's really kind of handy if you're mixing audio and crunching audio. You use a lot of apps all at the same time, and it's really kind of cool to have that. So I look forward to be able to test some of that.
I'm interested to see how that's going to work in touch mode. I mean, I think I love that idea with the mouse, being able to, being able to swipe in between those two, and again, I'm anxious to get it on my Surface so I can kind of test all that in true touch mode. I almost feel like I need to go out and buy a really cheap Windows device that I can.
I wouldn't do it, Jim. I wouldn't do it. If you're not using the Pro 3, if it's just a podcasting kind of thing, then fine, do it.
Yeah.
You can always image.
Blow it back. Yeah, I might, because I'm not really using it. It would be nice to get access to some of this. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I think I might wait for the next. I think we'll have an update in February or something, late February, early March or something like that. I think they'll iterate pretty quick on this first go around. If they follow the same pattern they followed with the technical preview for Enterprise, I think we'll see a pretty quick update. So I may wait for that one to come in and go and then put it on, because it's one thing I want to spend some time. Although I'm getting ready to travel. I'll be gone. I'll be out 3 weeks in February. That wouldn't be bad. Maybe. No, I don't know. It could be a blessing or a cursing. Maybe I do it right before.
I wouldn't do it. Because
it's still not my main.
I almost dropped the F-bomb. They screwed up OneDrive to the point where I hate it, and I just loaded in a browser tab. So it depends on how you use it.
I don't use OneDrive, so I've separated some accounts, but I don't use OneDrive that way on these PCs. So it's
I live in it.
Yeah.
And I like it the way it was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I hear you.
All kinds of new stuff. We may have to cover some of this next week, and the week after, and the week after, and the week after, and the week after. Maybe we should just let's just tap into a little RT, and we'll call it a night. Quickly after the presentation, and I know you're Surface Geeks, and you know this, and you've heard this, you've read about it a bazillion times. But quickly after the presentation, people started kind of parsing the words, and the words used for RT were update, not upgrade. So I forget who actually cornered Microsoft, but somebody cornered Microsoft and asked them about RT, and they said, yes, we're going to update it, but not upgrade it to Windows 10. So it's going to get some app updates. It's going to get something, but it's not going to be full-blown Windows 10 as far as we know it. Now, there's been enough backlash that who knows what's going to happen. But they also admitted that production has stopped on Surface 2. So that's the only RT device in production and sale right now is the Surface 2, and they stopped production. So meaning they're stopping making them. There will be a point where there are no more left. And so I don't think they actually came out and said RT is dead. But that's how the journos are taking it. So everybody's publishing RT is dead, RT is dead, RT is dead. So that's what we have to go on now. And of course that's caused some backlash. It's the whole like everything I've touched, Jim. Media Center. Yeah. Big Media Center fan here.
Right.
Windows Home Server version 1.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah, dead. Zune, bought one of those. Yep, dead. Windows Phone, yeah, 7. A lot of that gone. I had a 900. You had a 900.
I had a 900. Yep.
Gone. Dead.
Still have a 520.
So pretty much, if you follow me, you should not buy what I buy, because if Microsoft made it, it will soon be phased out. Except my trusty Surface Pro 3.
Well, but Dave, the life cycle on those, I mean, come on, let's just say it, right? They're not. We knew they were not going to last forever, and I think they're going to support them through their end of life. My daughter uses mine; she's had that now for
Yes,
a
they
year.
will. But we were under the impression that they were going to be supported much longer.
Well, yeah, but I think they'll support them the next 3 to 5, and I think that's about all the life people are going to get out of them. Can't replace the batteries, so pretty soon, within the next year or so, those batteries are going to start getting really bad. Let's just admit it. It's not going to. Those things aren't. The hardware's not going to last that long. You're going to have people who are plugging them in all the time, and come on. So, I think as they are, they're pretty disposable. I kind of hate to say that because they weren't too cheap either. So at $500 retail first price, I mean you could get them as cheap as $350 now. I think. Sorry, I mean I don't have huge expectations. This is going to be the computer that's going to get my daughter. I hope I can get 2 more years out of it with her in high school. I bought her a new keyboard for it. I bought her a type keyboard. It's one of the knockoffs that's in a kind of a cover that was a color that she really wanted. But bought her type, and I'm kind of hoping it gets her through high school, and then we'll get her we'll do something. We'll get her a laptop when she goes to college. So she's going to write a lot. I think we're gonna need to upgrade her to something serious. Maybe by that time we would have, if the current cycle goes as the way it is, we should have a Surface Pro 7 by that time. And maybe we'll put her on a Surface. She really likes my Surface Pro 3, but she likes her Surface 2. She has gotten past all the problems that the lack of Chrome and some other things. She's okay with it.
Yeah, it's a shame. Microsoft shouldn't get a pass on this one. They've done a lot of things wrong with this platform. It is still a platform I think that is needed. I think in some weird way, I still think it is a platform that is wanted, just in a different method. I think 8-inch and lower form factor. It's a beautiful. I mean, I think it's awesome. I think it works so well in the smaller size, something like this. Pure tablet mode, pure tablet, pure Office, pure OneDrive, as pure as you can make it to tablet mode without a desktop. I think that's where some of their mistakes were made with that thing. But I mean, I can't look back now. I've got an RT and I've got a 2. And I think I'm going to keep them. They do serve odd purposes in and out of the house, and I don't think that they're worth much on the.
I'm going to look it up right now.
On the market.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. I just looked up I have 2 Galaxy S2s that I've been holding on as our backup phones. Right, we're getting ready to change out again. So I went to your trade-in link today and was looking up. I can still get $40 for those things.
Okay.
Right, and I'm like, okay, so let's see what.
You might Craigslist those too. You never know.
Let's
You might
see
get double
where
that.
Surface 2. Let's see what we can find under the Amazon.
I should have run the Amazon trade-in ad like I did last week.
We're kind of doing that right now.
Yeah.
So hey, up to 100. If you got the 32 gig version, it says here, up to $166.
Oh, well, I have a Surface 264.
Well, that's up to $193.20.
Wow. That is tempting.
Yeah.
Kids.
What's weird is with the touch cover, so one says Microsoft Surface 2 32 gig up to 166. Then 3 lines down, Surface, Microsoft, this is the original Surface. So the original Surface with 32 gig and the black touch cover, you can get up to $102 for. So I think it's time to use that trade-in link. Or
Okay, so I'll put that back in the show notes. Amazon Trade-In, they take electronics, they not only just iPads and phones, and Surface, they take old Blu-ray players. If it's an electronic device, they might take it for trade-in. So check it out, Amazon Trade-In. That link will be in the show notes. You can also always go to surfacegeeks.net/Amazon, and that'll get you there as well. There was a lot going on. We're gonna vet this information, try to clear it up, and the internet is trying to do this as well to see what Microsoft's intentions are. I think it's going to take some time, and these things, man, you can get happy in the same pants you got sad in, and I really never I don't lose it and go on Twitter rants and posts this. It never really strikes me as much. This is kind of how technology goes. It's just, wow. It's like Microsoft. We need to get something right, with RT, and it sure doesn't look like it's happening. The Surface Hub hit. It's a 54 and a 84-inch TV that has Surface qualities built into it for small and large, medium business. It's a business product. Surface Hub. We'll be going over that a little bit more in the future. And HoloLens came out, and that looked very promising, very cool. I tried to explain it. I tried to explain it to my 7-year-old. And I told him about how he likes Minecraft. And I said, just imagine that you're in the game, and you're part of the game, and you can see inside things. You can see up inside things, like you're surrounded by the game. He's like, that is cool. I want that. It just made me think about, this is the future for my kids. This is it. Microsoft is creating it. This is cool. This is what they're going to experience in gaming, in the years to come. So that's kind of cool stuff. We will.
Yeah, they're getting this part right, where it's augmented reality as opposed to virtual reality, and the big goggles versus being able to see through. And man, that is incredible. And they're a little bulky. They're a little big and bulky at this point, but
I think they are. I think they are getting it right, and I
think they're absolutely.
Honestly,
getting it right.
I don't believe them in that it's going to be available anytime soon. So
I think they might take a page out of Google's book and release a big, expensive version that's kind of big and clunky, just for the enthusiasts. That $2,000 or whatever. Certainly not commercially available. You'll have to get on some kind of list to get it done. I think they're absolutely going to take the Google Glasses model to push this thing out. So, but that's super promising. I mean, I never could get behind Google Glass. It was basically a camera and a monitor, right? But this whole experience, and it's as promising as it is in V1. I think it's just got more. So imagine, Dave, with your band, right? Where you've got integration with the band, where now you're looking at your band, you swipe it you say go to the lenses, and you swipe it, and a screen pops up that's the size of your hand, and now you can do things on that screen, but the controls are down in your watch. The physical controls. I mean, think how cool that could be. So that's doable. It's very, very doable in what they're doing. So it's there's some really, really cool stuff that, and the band can be a part of that. I think it can play in that space. I think
you're all thinking productive, and I'm just thinking, man, this is gonna be great for porn.
I didn't even think about it from that angle.
How did you not think about porn?
Okay, now I gotta go get one.
I guarantee you, that's how the kids are gonna chat.
Yeah.
Think about it. They're gonna stand next to each other. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to be able to podcast and like sit on a virtual couch next to each other.
Right.
And my little avatar is going to take a swing at your little avatar, you know? Something, crazy stuff like that.
Yeah. No. I think it's got some real world. And I saw this week too, a device that's the two corners of the. Was this a Surface thing? Is this what you were talking about earlier? Where you set it on a table and it projects out the screen. So you have a device out in front of you like a keyboard, and then there's these two corners, and you can spread them out, and it will project the screen right on the table, right on the surface in front of you.
Yeah, you might have to find a link for us.
Something different, yeah. I saw that too, and I'm like, man, this is getting good. We're finally getting to that point. This stuff is getting good. I've been looking for tabletop projectables because I think that's a better option than Surface, the big Surface where you have big TVs. I think, and this is where the Holo comes in, is that you can project a screen up on any space virtually, and so a big wall becomes a viewing screen for you from that standpoint. So, I'd love to see that change. So some of our surfaces get that way, but it's all projected or augmented as opposed to physical, like you would. I think the days of having big TV screens like the Perceptive Pixel. I think those are going to go the way of the dinosaur. We can represent those big spaces virtually now.
And that's what Surface Hub is.
Yeah.
It's a Perceptive Pixel. It's just
right
on a. It's a whiteboard, and they've got pins.
Yeah. I just don't think 5 years from now we're going to need a physical surface to be able to do that. I think most of that can be represented virtually.
Yeah.
So you turn any surface. You just don't have to make glass for it, right? You can turn any surface. If you can get those glasses in front of you, you can turn any surface into a gigantic, and then interact with it, and using what they've learned from Kinect and being able to track where all your finger points are through that technology. Then that's where I see it going.
I know. I see,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know if I want to wear these things all day long. But I saw, if I go to certain areas in my house and I look at certain walls, it would be neat to see like my home automation panel on a certain wall, and I could see like, if I stare at this wall, I could see like, daggum kids, the light downstairs is on, and all I do is just do that, move my hand towards it, pop, and turn the lights off downstairs.
Right.
'Cause it's linked to my home automation.
This is all predicted in Bill and Ted's Big Adventure, Excellent Adventure, right? We got into the future, and they were all wearing those, those, right? Listen, everything about the future, it can be found. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Bill and Ted. It's just the answer to everything. Just the answer to everything.
They had it. They had these glasses figured out.
We're going to talk about that more. We're also going to talk about. I've got a post that I'm too chicken to publish. I'm still. Actually, I wrote a post about the future of Windows. And I didn't look back at it, and I just closed. I just closed it, saved it, closed it. I didn't post it. I didn't do anything with it. And I've got this thought about what's going to happen, and I'm too chicken because it's out there. I'm crazy enough, but these ideas are whacked. But it makes me. It's an explanation of why they popped out HoloLens at the same time when they didn't have to. The star of the show was supposed to be Windows 10. I could understand Surface Hub. That was so minor. Cool, but minor. I would love to have one behind me, a Surface Hub. I would love to stand at it and have, the video of the podcast there and me standing there interacting with the podcast with a pen. That would be really cool. I could do that. But I was really, really confused about HoloLens. I mean, they literally could have stolen the show at Mobile World Congress. They could have been the talk of CES. But they chose to introduce it with what's supposed to be the star of 2015 is Windows 10. So I've got some deep thoughts on that. I may consult someone on it, but I don't know. Look for a post soon, and we'll discuss it on the podcast. Hopefully, I'll have that wrapped up so we can talk about it next week. But I just find it odd. I find it so odd. A product as amazing as I think this HoloLens is going to be was trotted out as hey, one more thing. Check out this. We've I'm just confused. I'm really confused, Jim. Windows Phone has taken a beating of late. They lost the Chase app and now the Bank of America app, I think. I see no end. I do. I see an end in sight for Windows Phone. And at the same time, Microsoft said that they will have flagship devices by the end of the year. For us fans that want a brand new flagship device running Windows Phone. And supposedly when this Windows 10 and is supposed to fix everything, it's yet again something else for developers to see if they'll get on the bandwagon and get the apps to the Windows Phone platform. Actually, shouldn't even say that. The Windows 10 platform, and it'll be on Windows Phone. So that's the promise. But I thought that was the promise when we dumped Windows 7, Windows Phone 7, and went to Windows Phone 8. So I'm about ready to call it. I'm about ready to wave the flag.
I don't know. Let me give you an alternate reality in a world where Mac is stumbling a little bit with Yosemite and their phones. They're still going pretty well. There's a little stumbling going on.
Yeah,
Android's all
this week.
A couple, right? But there's I'm hearing some discontentment there. I'm certainly hearing a lot of discontentment around Android with my friends, right? What about a scenario a year or two from now when Windows 10 begins to really bleed its way in, and a phone comes out that's the same thing? This has been this is the Mac deal, right? All of a sudden, it all just works together, and people are like, "Hey, wait a minute! You mean it's the same interface? Yeah. You mean all this stuff still works? Yeah." Now, will they dominate? I don't know. I'm just saying. I can see a world where this may make a resurgence. I don't think it makes a lot of sense right now. Because we still, we still have Lumia and we still got these weird, we still got Windows Phone 8 and we got all this stuff. It's not all the same. 2 years from now, it could be pretty darn close. And with the promise of some universal apps, some of those folks could come back. So again, I'm not trying to be Pollyannish or the fanboy from this standpoint, but I do see where they're going with this. And if a few things fall in the right direction and a few mistakes are made by either Android or Apple or both, there could be that opportunity with where they're headed with this kind of one Windows on all devices. And all of a sudden, it starts making sense to people. Because we know people are flighty, right? They'll leave the iPhone or they'll leave Android on a whim. They left other stuff on a whim to get onto that platform. And so we know that weather can change. Look at BlackBerry. We know that weather can change so quickly. So I don't think anybody's got this thing locked up at all at this point. I mean, the trends are what they are right now. And today you're not betting against Apple or Android. But a few things have to go wrong. A few things have to go right.
I'm definitely living in the now.
Yeah.
And the now is
right
frustrating
now.
for
In
me.
the now, it's a mess.
I would love to be on Windows Phone. It's just, I can't.
It's a mess. No, I can't go to it at all either. Yeah. Not full time. I've got one I use part time, but not full time. It's still messy. But 2 years from now, Dave, it could be different.
I'll give you 2 years. We'll come
Hopefully
back.
we're still podcasting together.
We won't talk about Windows Phone for 2 years. So
yeah.
everybody
Do you know this April, you and I, 5 years together podcasting?
Wow. We'll have to throw a party.
Isn't that crazy? No. 6 years. 6 I think.
2008 is when I started Home Service.
You started, and I think we joined you in April of 2009, or was it 2010? When did you have Max?
2009.
Yeah. So it was right after that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Yeah, so
April.
6 years. This year it'll be 6.
Yeah. Wow. 7. I've only been.
Yeah.
This podcast has lasted longer than my first marriage.
That's a way to look at it.
Maybe it was all that virtual reality porn I was partaking of.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
That's pretty cool. Hey, I totally forget that we've been doing this.
Yeah,
for
you
so
and I.
long.
We've stuck it
Gee.
out 6 years. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
This April.
Well, I don't want to burn so many topics because we've got a lot to talk about. HoloLens, looking forward to digging in deep with that. I really wish I was there to get that demo, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe Microsoft will throw us a bone and we can get a demo somehow in the future. Windows Phone, I'm gonna cut you some slack. I'll take the Jim avenue of 2 years.
I'm not predicting anything in 2 years. I'm
so
just saying
many
the
things can
conditions
happen.
are right.
I know,
for
I
that
know,
to
and
happen.
it's a what have you done for me lately kind of world, and it's kind of a been there, done that too. I've heard this before.
Yeah, no, I
right?
agree. I agree with you. I agree.
Okay.
Totally agree with you.
More links in the show notes for this episode. There's a video on YouTube where you can see Ubie. We turned Ubie off. We're not turning her back on to close the show, but we'll do more. I'll refine how I load Ubie up. Maybe I'll get her own little set of speakers, Jim. That way, I don't know. I'll work
I
on
thought the
Ubie.
headphones worked pretty well.
Yeah. We need
Do
to
they have a
separate headphones from mic. That's the problem.
Do they have yeah, no, I got you, because you'll get a little bit back because they're closed. They're open, they're not closed. So
Yeah.
it's better than a speaker, but it still can pick up those microphones can pick up that audio.
Right. And where's control room? Can I unmute her?
Yeah. You just muted you.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so I unmuted her. She has an app. There she is.
Okay, Ubie. Can you tell me a joke?
Patient. Doctor, you've got to help me. Nobody ever listens to me. Doctor, next please.
That was horrible.
Okay, Ubie. Can you tell me another joke?
It's tough being a politician. Half your reputation is ruined by lies, the other half is ruined by the truth.
Okay.
I don't know if those are proverbs or
Is the
jokes.
Surface Geeks podcast. Listen to her.
This is the Surface Geeks podcast.
Oh, nice.
How do you like that? She's got a
Ah.
repeat after me app.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Hi, Jim. That's a nice microphone you have.
Hi, Jen, that's a nice microphone you have.
Okay, so there is a $300 repeat after me toy right there.
Okay, Ubie. I didn't say Ubie right. Okay, Ubie. Okay, Ubie.
Maybe she's still stuck
She's
in my
not.
mode.
She's not listening to me anymore.
Let me close that. I've made her mad with my app.
Okay.
Look, she's flashing.
Okay, Ubie.
Yeah, we done pissed her off.
She's like, I'm taking my ball and going home. Okay, Ubie. She flashing red?
Okay, Ubie. Yeah.
I'd like her
she's-
to say, "What can I do for you, Master?" When you say, "Okay, Ubie," instead of just a dink, I'd like it to say, "What can I do for you, Master?"
Okay. Well, I have to see if I can get
If
that.
you can do that.
Hmm.
My master. You can say it like Darth Vader.
Right.
Maybe you could load the Darth Vader voice. What is thy bidding, thy master?
That's messed up. Well, I don't know what she's doing. She's
Ooh, turn
blue
Ubie
now.
into Darth Vader. That would be kind of cool to have a Darth
I'm
Vader.
losing it. And I'm losing my audio podcast. Hey, this has been Surface Geeks. Number 82. Come out to the forums, surfacegeeks.net/forums. We'd love to have you out there. Let's talk some Windows 10. Let's talk some RT. Love to know your feedback on this podcast and on those topics in general. We're a member of the Geeks Network. Geeksnetwork.com. Is there a podcast in you? Mr. Jim Collison can be found at theaverageguy.tv. And you're going to be talking with Ubie a little bit too, Jim.
Yeah, I like it.
You'll have Ubie on your show because Jim covers gadgets, and technically Ubie is a gadget, and we'll try not to overdo that on this podcast. But it's been fun, Jim.
Thanks, Dave. Great to be on.
We'll talk about all this stuff probably again in the next couple of weeks. So thanks, guys.
At
We'll
least.
see you next week.